So that's, I just have to pass. Not too much. But what I learned is there's 4 basic pieces of the rowing stroke. Only 4. Every one of them has specific checks and balances and cues and keys that you should look for. And only one of them do you actually perform any work. Only one. Okay? So the 4, and there's no test on this, the 4 are the catch, which is your setup, the drive, where the work takes place, the release, which is the end of the stroke and the start of phase 4, which is the recovery. Okay? And we're going to show those. The way that the stroke gets broken down is 60% of your effort should come from the leg drive. It should come from your legs, right off the bat from the bottom. 30% comes from what is called the hip swing near the end, and only 10% actually comes from your arms. So we'll probably talk about some common areas to improve. Areas to improve would be, I'll say right now, is the amount of big, strong people who compensate with a big arm pull because they're big and they're strong. Extremely inefficient, especially if you take a look at like a CrossFit Open where you've got another exercise to go after. Pre-exhausting muscles that you don't need to is not a helpful thing to do. Would you mind getting on the wall?
Let's go.
So, item number 1, real basic. Where your feet should be in the foot stretchers is that your strap should be over the widest part of your foot.
Right.
Okay, the widest part. And so yes, you know, if it's a casual workout, no big deal, but if you're competing, get it right before the session starts, because it's worth it. So,
pretty close.
yeah.
Like just at the bottom of the shoelaces, probably.
Yeah, and they'll be the same on every machine. So if you know you're a 3, you're going to be a 3, 3, 3, 3, 3. So you'll be set to go. So when you're going for what's called the catch, what you're trying to do is position yourself perfectly every time to get the best effort out of the main phase, which is the drive. So can you grab your handle here? First of all, your hands should be wider, not narrower. Now they can't be falling off, but there's no benefit to coming on the inside. You're going to find it's going to restrict you. Number 2, you only need to hook your fingers. There is no need for a death grip. So when you see, and I'm not picking on him, when you see Garth get ripped open and shredded on his hands, that would indicate holding way, way too tight. You're going to get your hands to get too tired, your forearms will get too tired along the way. So you only need to hook. What we need Adam to do is to get as far forward as he possibly can in good form. You want a long stroke, but the long stroke doesn't come on the back end. The long stroke comes at the front, if that makes any sense, by squeezing tighter because you're going to engage your muscles more. So what we need to do is get Adams, he's here, his hands and arms should be tracking over his knees, not outside, not inside. Allowing those legs to flare out so you can get closer is going to affect your power. Bad news. So once he gets here, now we need him to actually squeeze even closer while maintaining his heels on the bottom. So if you're looking for a visual cue, are your heels on the bottom? Because if your heels are not on the bottom, you're not going to be adequately able to push with your legs and your glutes. Okay, so that's a big one. You'll see a lot of folks get closer by going up on their toes. You are better off to stay on your heel and learn to get closer than to compensate with the toe. Because if you take a look here, and you can relax for a second, you'll get tired. It's a 45-degree angle where your feet are. That indicates that there's 2 planes of force. You're going to go back, but you also need to go up, if this makes any sense, right? So it's almost like a little bit of a deadlift at the start, but you're actually starting your drive at a 45-degree angle. In order to do that, you need your heel down. Otherwise, you're going to get exhausted up top. And you'll feel that if you start getting strain in the front of your shins, and also sometimes you'll feel it in your hip flexors. So when Adam comes back in again, what we need him to do is pre-engage his lats. Okay? So you need to, just like you're getting ready for a deadlift, I think, and not that I'm an expert deadlift, but if you know if you're not ready to go, you can't lift as much, and when you start to push, what happens is your shoulders actually release. That would be an energy leak. One of the cues to do that is rotate your elbows in. So when you're out, give that little rotation. That will actually create tension on your lats right away. And Adam's first push now, so this is the catch, the perfect catch every time. He needs to be here and then drive off. Only legs though. So try that again without moving your hips. Only legs. You're going to stay here, push with your legs. There.
Cool.
Does that make any sense? You must drive with the legs first. 60% of your force comes there. You don't start that hip swing until after your legs are extended. If you go early on the hip swing, you're negating the power of your legs. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's mental
Yep.
cues at deadlift.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deadlifting.
Yeah, now it's not going to be like, you're not going to lock out the leg and then do the hip.
Sure.
It is going to start towards the end, but what you don't want is a lot of people are doing both. So he drives with the legs. Once he nears the end, then he'll go to a hip swing and you're going to go to 11 o'clock. Only 11 o'clock. So you'll see some people are going to 10, right? And I think what they're trying to do is extend the stroke. But there's nothing left at the end. You know, like percentage-wise, there's almost no benefit to going further back there.
It's 11 to 1, right? Like 11
Yeah.
to 1 versus 10 to 2.
Yes. So you want to come to 11 o'clock, and once you're at 11 o'clock, then you're going to finish it with your arms. Okay? Does this make any sense? So let's see that again in slow motion. Because Adam actually has a very good stroke. So he pulls out with his legs. Hips come a little early on that one. So go legs. Got leg, hip, and then he finishes. Hit the sternum. Okay? And the reason you want to hit the sternum is because if you think about that 45 degree, okay, it's going to help you learn to pull up a little bit when you're going out there. But you're not trying to come up and do like an upright row. Basically, it's where your myzone band is.
Yeah.
Basically, hit your myzone band. But you shouldn't actually be touching. Okay? You shouldn't actually hit. So if you're slamming off your chest, you're pulling too far. And these are just cues. The reason you don't want to hit your chest is because the rowing motion should be an absolute infinity loop. There should never be any stop to the motion. You hitting your chest means you've stopped. So we'll go back to where you finished, Adam. So you're going to go back. He finishes. The next thing is the release. And the release is as soon as he finishes there, he pushes it away with force. Push it away. So you're going to come up, you're going to push that thing away because that is the start of your recovery phase. One of the common things, and this is what you and I talked about, is Adam likes to pull and stop and look at the wheel spin. There's no more work being done because all of his work occurred on that drive. Him stopping does nothing in here. It's not doing anything. The wheel's going to continue to move, but it's also going to continue to move as he gets ready for the next stroke. And what you want to be able to do is catch the next stroke. You don't want that wheel to stop spinning. He pushes, and then your recovery is the exact opposite. 10% on arms, 30% returning your hips, 60% of your legs easing back in. And it's recovery. You should be doing absolutely no work on the way back in here. You should just be gliding in, and it's the motion of your arms pushing forward, which starts the body going, your hips will follow, and then your legs should slide. If you are pulling yourself back in, you're not doing a recovery. There should be no work. And so for me, one of the things I learned was my hip flexors fatigued in a row. It's because I was pulling myself back in as opposed to nicely gliding back in. The glide will occur as soon as you push and then you slide back in. And the whole time you're going back down, all you're thinking about is, I need the perfect catch. I've got to get myself back to the perfect starting point again. Making sense so far?
Okay. Yep.
Okay. So, obvious things to avoid. When I come back, I actually release everything but 2 fingers on my handle. Okay? I do that for 2 reasons. One, it cools your hand down all the way, and it reminds me that I should not be squeezing that bar. Recovery means recovering everything. So squeezing the snot out of a bar here, that's doing absolutely nothing for you. Again, in a long workout, if you're going to go into barbell cycling or something, just pre-exhausting little muscles that don't need it. So common errors. Number 1, overcompensating, so reaching here, okay? You reach, if he has a big leg drive, all he's going to do is blow a disc out the back. Or worse, as he pushes back, it squeezes. The legs move, the body actually comes forward, the machine didn't move anywhere. So there's no benefit to reaching further than you need to. You want to reach as far as you can, maintaining good posture with your lats engaged and your feet on the bottom. Number 2 would be whipping your hips, right? So whipping the hip as opposed to, that's a perfect example. Leg, and then hip. So frankly, if you improved your leg drive and did nothing else, you're actually going to have a better stroke because your legs are so much more powerful. The other one, the death grip would be the other one I see people do, and the last one is the looky look. Taking a look at your, pulling, stopping, and saying, look at that straight
Wow.
floor as nothing actually occurs. So infinity loops along the way. Yeah, so
The recovery stage, so like when you come back and you're in this spot here, if you want to slow down your stroke pace,
yeah.
right? Would you sit here and pause a moment, or would you just recover?
Just slow the
slowly?
recovery. So the question is, if you're focusing on your stroke rate, which is the number up in the corner, you know, the 16, 18, 20, whatever, if you want to slow that down, you slow it down on the recovery and go to a harder 10%.
Oh.
Because it will slow down your drive. Because if you think about those, and all the damper setting does here, and this is a whole other thing, all this does is allows more air in. It doesn't actually change the machine, if that makes any sense. But it'll make it heavier and slower. The flywheel will get slower. So if you're looking to go a much slower stroke rate, you'll find that it'll be easier to do it on a higher damper setting. Damper setting is a whole other thing. 10 does not mean you're stronger. All right? And there's a lot of people that think I'm big and strong, let's go higher. There's actually a really cool exercise, I can maybe flip it out to you, where you can test what your ideal damper setting is based on the metrics on the machine.
Nice.
I'm as equally efficient on a 6 as I am as a 10. So depending on the workout.
Yeah. Scott, on the
Question.
on the recovery piece.
Yep.
In my head, I'm thinking, do I want to keep the rope, let's call it the rope,
Yeah.
the same on the way back in, or am I bringing it down to my legs and keeping it tight to my
You're
body?
talking about the height?
Yeah, like do I bring it down and in, or am I
Right.
coming
So it's
straight
gotta
back
clear
in?
your knees. So what
Yep.
you got to do is keep it up high enough, because if you think the arm goes out, then the hip, now come on with your knees. As long as it clears the knees, you're okay. But what you really want to do is say, where's my starting point?
Yeah.
Like if you know where your ideal catch is, if you can burn in your memory where
Okay.
I want to be when I start, you're targeting that.
Okay,
And that's
good
just
point.
muscle memory.
Right.
You know, but you do see a lot of this.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And the chain is like.
Yeah, again, that's not efficient, and I think part of that is also sometimes the workouts are not designed for like the perfect stroke to like get through the 1,000 meters as fast as you possibly
Yeah.
can.
Yeah.
Right? Right? In which case,
Yes.
yeah, there's some flailing going on.
Cool.
If
Need
you
those
want to,
extra seconds, Scott.
it does. If you want to watch, sometimes if you ever watch the force curve, do you ever watch the force
Yeah.
curve on the monitor?
Yeah.
If you watch the force curve, you want a haystack.
Okay.
Okay, that's what you're shooting for, is a haystack. And if you don't have a haystack, that will tell you where you're off, where your stroke
For
is
us
wrong.
city folks, that haze.
Stacking.
Parabellum, right? Parabellum. Mushroom.
Nice
Right.
rounded.
Where it's wrong will tell you where your stroke is off, right? So if you're starting, if it comes too low and then spikes, it means that your drive's off,
Right.
right? Because you're not engaging enough
Cool.
leg, right? And then you're whipping up. And it'll also show if you're releasing too fast because it'll drop off again. Does that help?
Yeah. Yeah. We need practice.
I think you
I find
passed
it-
your